Leeds. Welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing
fantastic,
good,
man. Doing fantastic. Trying to stay as busy as possible during this time in life.
Are you guys actually in the same space right now?
We are
Yeah,
actually in the
man.
same space, man.
Got a home studio. It's very nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're quarantined together. Wow.
Yes, we're quarantined together.
Yeah, it's very much
great.
family dynamic.
All right, that's good.
Yeah. And yourself right now, I hear you're in the kitchen baking some cookies.
I am baking some cookies. Yeah. Nope. I don't know how they're going to turn out though. But there's no ingredients left on the shelves, so it's hard.
Right.
Well, you're gonna have to share afterwards.
Yeah, right.
I used cake flour this time. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll
Oh, good luck.
Cake flour.
see. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
always
you're
left.
definitely
What
going
are
to
you
have to follow up and let us know how that
Yeah.
turns out.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
Yeah,
man,
we'll
we're
definitely-
super excited to talk to you today. We got a lot of listeners and a fan base of Zoes, so they're going to be super
awesome.
pumped that you're on. When we had Austin on a few weeks back, the response was overwhelming, so we know you guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So we're going to talk to you about that. And but what we want to do first is kind of introduce you to the listeners a little bit. Tell them how you got started in the industry, how you got started in acting. Was it something you always wanted to do? Did you kind of know at a young age, or did you kind of fall into it? What's the background?
Well, when I grew up in Florida, in Clearwater, Florida, and very, very shy and like painfully shy. And so my mom put me in like a little singing like group at the Largo Recreation Center. And we did like little musicals and I was like 3 at the time. Oh, there's that beep for the oven. The oven's ready. So that's good. But yeah, so I don't know what it was, but I loved it. So I kept going because I loved going. And by the time I was, I think 7, there was a Broadway musical that was coming to Florida, to Tampa, to do their like pre-Broadway tryout.
Right.
And they, I think my mom may have seen an ad in the newspaper or something like that. And so she took me down there and I met with like the person who was or sort of partially running the theater in Florida to potentially be an understudy for the 3 or 4 boys who were in the show. And I didn't have to do anything for the audition. It wasn't really even it was just a meeting with this woman. And she hired me pretty much because I was seemingly well behaved. And
it's always good.
And and polite. And so I got the job, and while they were in Florida, I understudied the kids. I didn't know any. If one of the kids had gotten sick, I would not have known what to have done. I was not at all. No one prepared me. I wasn't prepared. And for some reason, like I remember being backstage, and one of the kids saying to me, "Do you know the lyrics to any of these songs?" And just thinking to myself, "Oh my gosh!" And I was only 7 at the time, but I was thinking like, "Oh no, like I don't know any of these. Like what?" Like, and it never really occurred to me that like I would have to go on, and I didn't. And then at the end of the run in Florida, they were packing up all their stuff, and I was sitting there with my mom, and I said, "Oh, I wish I could go to New York with them." And she goes, "Well, why don't you just go ask the producer?" And not knowing any better, not being scared at the time because you're a kid, you just don't know.
Right.
I walked down the hall to the producer, and I said, "Excuse me," and I said, "Can I go to New York with you guys?" And she said, "Well, do you even know if you can sing?" And I said, I mean, I don't know. I haven't sung for you." So she said, "Okay, come down to the orchestra pit at half hour at 7:30 and sing for us." And I did. And I went and I sang a song. And 5 minutes later, she came back upstairs and they said, "Okay, yeah, you can come to New York."
Wow.
Awesome.
So,
Wow.
Yeah, I think I don't think that ever happened. Is that it's such a random thing to have happened. So we went to Baltimore, and then we went to New York, and it opened on Broadway. And one of the kids I was understudying was pretty bad. He was a bad little kid and getting himself into trouble, and he was biting the other kids. And so eventually he got back. Well, at that point I started to actually learn the show because I was like, "Oh, I might have to go on."
Right.
And one of the performances, he was running around backstage and cracked his head open.
Oh my goodness.
And so it's so funny. I feel like that's something that you talk about when you're a kid. Like, oh yeah, he cracked his head open. I don't feel like that happens as an adult.
No, let's hope not, right?
I feel like it happens with kids. But anyway, so I had to go on. Actually, it was right before the show started. So they said, "Are you ready to go on? You have to go on." And I said, "Oh, where's my mom?" And so they, this is before cell phones. So
Right.
somehow they tracked her down, and she showed up halfway through the show with my aunt, and I went on, and it was fine. And then like a few weeks later, he got fired, and I took over the role. But I took over the role, but the show wasn't doing very well. It was in one of the biggest theaters on Broadway, called the Minskoff Theater, and it's where the Lion King is now. And so we'd perform. So I want to say it's close to 2,000 seats. It might be a little. I don't even know. It's around that though. But there were times where we'd do the show for 60 people. So it closed pretty quickly. It only ran for a total of like 3 months, and from there I got an agent, and the day it closed, my mom called me and said, "Yeah, good news and bad news. The bad news is that the show is closing, and the good news is that you have an audition for Les Mis."
Awesome.
And that led to me ultimately getting a job doing Les Mis, which I did for like 2 years. So yeah, that's how I got my start. It was a long time ago, but that's the basic story.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that's pretty awesome. It's always fascinating to listen to how people got into it, and that's got to be one of the most unusual stories we've heard. You just, no, come down, sing for us. Boom, you got it. That's really cool, dude.
Yeah. You just got to remind yourself, never hurts to ask.
Yeah, exactly. And then we also saw that you posted it a while ago, your little jingle for the chicken pox or something like that?
Yeah, chicken pox. That was some classic singing with Lacey Chabert, right?
Yeah, chicken pox vaccine. While I was in New York, while we were there, I was doing another show called Falsettos, and at the time I was doing a lot of jingles and voiceovers for like Burger King and all sorts of Dunkaroos and remember that place Discovery Zone and all these different, all the General Mills cereals, Lucky Charms and all that stuff. And so I don't know, somehow they were like, we need people to sing. We need 2 kids to sing Something's Coming from West Side Story about the new chickenpox vaccine. But anyway.
Well, I got to tell you, man, it was, I saw that. I was just like, wow, this is fantastic. I mean, we got to bring it up. So so let's talk about it though. How do you make the transition? You're doing Broadway, you're doing theater. Where did you make the transition into kind of the television side, and what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you make the leap out. We see that you're bouncing back and forth from coast to coast. Did you make the leap out to LA to get into the TV industry, or how did that all happen?
So around the time sort of like 2 sections of my life / career, I guess, because around the time of I did this Broadway show called Falsettos, and I did an opera, and then I got a movie that shot out here. It's really, really, I mean, I don't want to say it's bad, but I haven't really watched it 20 years ago. This movie, summer camp movie called The Pig's Tale, that not many people have seen, but it's on HBO and Showtime every once in a while. But so I got that movie, and so that brought me out to LA. And then we basically, I did this movie called Major Pain, and everybody's like, okay, it's time to go back to high school so you can get into college. And so that's what I did. And we went back to Florida, and then I applied to schools, and I ended up somehow getting into Stanford and majored in computer science. And while I was there, directed some theater stuff, but struggled really hard with the academics because most of my experience, growing up was getting tutored, which really meant me just like doing whatever I wanted.
Right. Right.
So I learned some things really well because the stuff I was interested in, and the other stuff I just never did. So I got to Stanford, and I had never written a paper before. I had pretty much never read a book. I mean,
I love the honesty, man.
Yeah,
You're just coming with it. It's like, yeah, no, I did what I wanted. I didn't write anything. Never read a book.
I mean, the only book that I ever read, I think up until that point, was Catcher in the Rye, but I didn't even finish it. I literally had like 6 pages left, and I didn't finish it.
Damn.
So that was Stanford. It was hard. I mean, obviously it was hard. I was not totally equipped for it. So then after that, I moved down to LA. Wasn't really sure exactly. I guess I moved to LA to start acting again, and definitely was a struggle, getting back into it. And it was also such a different time than it is now in terms of like what TV was. And, it's really evolved a lot in the last 15, years.
Yeah,
I'd say.
It really has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, the career took off clearly. I mean, some of the list of shows that you've been on and or appeared on, man, is just incredible. I mean, you're talking
that's nice.
Entourage, Veep, Grey's Anatomy, Lucifer, Barry. I mean, you're killing it with some of these huge shows, man.
That's nice. I feel like I've been very lucky to get to be on some really good shows. Like, there's a lot of shows out there, and you could be on, and
absolutely.
Who knows what parts you guys, just sort of the timing of it all, and the right people, seeing you on something else, and all sorts of things that can lead to that happening. But I feel like I've somehow been fortunate to, especially like the last couple of years, just to, Barry is it's such a great show, and Zoe's is great, and Get Shorty is a great show.
Oh
And
yeah, definite.
yeah, so it's been I feel very lucky that I've gotten the opportunity, and just to get to work with some really, really great people on those shows.
Let's talk about Zoe's, because dude, this show is absolutely incredible. I mean, we like I said, we've got a huge listener base that are massive fans of this show. We get so much interaction back and forth whenever we talk about the show. I think it's so original, and the concept behind it was just outstanding. It attracted, I think, so many people right away. Let's talk about that a little bit, because Austin kind of brought up, he was very funny about the casting process. He said it was really like American Idol. We had so many people coming in and out and literally singing for us and doing all that. What was your casting process like?
Well, it was non-existent kind of. I've known Austin for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Austin saw me in a music or a sort of play with some songs in it in LA. I mean, I don't know if Austin talked about this at all, but Austin, when he was a kid, he won this like Young Playwrights Festival. Did he tell you about that at all?
Yep, he sure did.
Pretty amazing. And he won like many, many times. He's kind of, I guess, a little bit of a prodigy. Anyway, so he saw me in this play, and afterwards he came up to me and he said, "You and I are going to be friends."
There you go.
And I said, "Okay, sure." And so we ended up becoming friends. I mean, it wasn't like we didn't see each other all that often, but over the years we talked and saw each other frequently. And when he had, we'd send each other scripts because I also write, and
Mm-hmm.
he would, we'd send each other scripts that we'd written and get each other's feedback. Now the cookies, they look like they're almost done, but they're not quite. I know you guys are really interested.
We are interested in this.
I'm going to put them in for another 2 minutes.
There you go.
So Austin, we would send each other scripts, and he sent me this script, and I was like, this is my favorite thing you've ever written. Like, this is amazing. And he called me during the casting process. He said, "Hey, I was supposed to actually audition. He wanted me to come in, or someone wanted me to come in to audition for the role of Leaf." To which I said, "I do not want to come in and read for that role, because if I do, I'm not going to be good, and I'm not going to get it, and then it's just going to make any other possibility of a role on the show impossible, because people are going to not feel great about what I did, So let's not do that." And he said, "Okay, that's fine." And then a couple weeks later, he goes, "Hey, listen, if I offered you the role of the brother, would you do it? Because, it's a very small role in the pilot, and it'll be bigger in the series, but they're not, for us to find someone to do a role that's essentially, I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 lines, I'm not sure."
Mm-hmm.
For us to find someone to do that, it's going to be hard, because, it's just like anybody that is great is not necessarily going to want to do it because of the size of the role. And would you do it for me as a favor? And I said, I would love to. Of course. You kidding me? I'd love to be involved in this, and I think it's great. And of course. And then a week later, he called me and he said, "So I don't know if you're going to get the job." And I was like, which is weird, because it started out as like, "Will you do me this favor?" to like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you the job now."
Right.
There were some concerns about, like, I mean, things that I don't even want to bring up now, but there were things that like didn't even make any sense. It was just like someone brought up like, "Oh, well, is he too tall? Is he too short? Is he too this? Is he too," you know what I mean?
Right.
Just things of like, and then so that went on for a little while, and then I found myself basically almost begging to say like, "Wait a second, no," like it was weird. It went from "Will you do me a favor" to me being like, "Wait, no, I want
I want this part. I want this part.
Yeah, I want to be involved in this because I love it so much, and he's such a good friend, and so eventually he said, "Hey, will you people don't they don't know if you can sing. Will you send in a tape of you singing?" And so I had some tapes of me like just messing around on the piano, so I sent those in, and then I think after that they hired me, and so it wasn't really much of an audition process. And then although when we were doing the pilot, I was definitely like the entire time I was thinking, the way that they're shooting this, I'm pretty sure that they can just like cut me out of this pretty easily. Like if you look at me, like when I'm like, we're on that boat together all at the,
right.
It's like, oh, the 3 of them are singing together. The family's like singing together. And then I'm like driving the boat. Like,
right.
For all we know, I'm just the guy that drives the boat.
Right.
If they like cut it correctly. so I was definitely like aware that like, oh, we'll see what happens. But then it got picked up, and then they didn't cut me out of it, so that was good. And I'm so happy that I had probably the best time that I've ever had, working on anything, just because the musical aspect was so fun, and getting to watch Austin, have like his dream come true, and
Right.
be able to make this show that that is so personal to him, and with this that's so different. There's nothing really anything else like it. And
Absolutely.
to get to see that, and just there's so many other great people that work on the show, from so many of the actors to the producers and the directors, and and of course Mandy Moore, who you're going to get to talk to, and she's just unbelievable. Like she's just a dream person to work with.
I bet. And like you said, the cast is absolutely phenomenal. Yourself included. And I've said in the past,
nice.
my favorite stuff is the family dynamic on the show. I think anytime the group of the family is together, those scenes are just absolutely incredible. But and we have to say we're both really excited about the fact that they're expanding your character a little bit and telling more of your story a little bit, because we were thrilled to see that. So I got to bring it up a couple of weeks ago because I thought it was absolutely amazing, and I have no idea how you did it. The scene, where Emily is wanting some, and her doing that dance, and then Zoe's looks, when Jane is giving all the looks, how you held a straight face through that entire sequence, I have no idea, dude.
Right.
That was brilliant.
I didn't see anything. So,
Right.
I didn't really get to watch at all, and so I was just focused on the fake paperwork in front of me, I guess. But Alice is incredible. I mean, so is Jane. They're both just awesome actors, awesome people, and so I'm not surprised. I actually was surprised. I did not know what Alice was doing back there, and she was incredible. She was so good. Oh my god, she was so good.
Definitely, without doubt.
But no, it was very fun. It was fun to get to watch it back and be like, oh, that's what was happening. A lot of times,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the family's great. I mean, it's like I became very close with Mary and Peter, who play my parents, and they're just great people. And we had a lot of fun in Vancouver, getting to go out to dinner and hang out. And Mary's always a wonderful host and would have people over, and just so lovely, just great people. So that was also one of the best parts about it was making those friendships. And I don't think I really had that in a long time. Maybe part of it was that we were in Vancouver, so there's a little bit of a summer camp aspect of it.
Sure.
Versus if we were in LA, like we would all go home and not see each other. But in Vancouver, like you go out to dinner, you spend more time with people, because nobody's families are there. So, but it was, that was just a wonderful element of it.
Well,
so
and you can tell too.
great.
I mean, on screen that relationship, that off-screen relationship, plays well on screen. You can see that everybody gets along. You can see that there's a friendship there, and so I think that translates really well.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And I think what a lot of people love about the show is somebody can connect with a certain character on the show. I mean, you can connect with a dad or someone who's about to be a dad and who's a little scared, someone who's in between two relationships with Simon and Zoe, or someone who's going through like the decay basically of a parent. Like, so there's so many things that people can connect with on the show. I think that's why it makes it such a huge success.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I agree. I mean, I think it's an interesting show because there really is so much going on.
Yeah,
there's so many different stories and so many different types of stories and types of groups of people. She's got her work situation. She's got Mo and she's got obviously their love triangle going on, and then there's a family situation going on as well. So there's just like kind of is something for everybody to some degree.
Oh, absolutely. And kudos to the writer's room in Austin, because the way they weave it all together is just brilliant.
Yeah. They've worked very, very hard. I don't think I've ever seen anyone work as hard as Austin worked during production of that show. That guy was insane. I thought he could potentially die. Like,
oh man, he was going at it.
Like pressure cooker, man. All right.
he was, you know, he was probably, you know, he was definitely working 18, 19 hours a day. Like he was nonstop.
Yeah.
Just go, 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 go. So, you know.
Well, like you said earlier,
really
a passion project for him, right? So definite.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Passion project. Exactly.
Okay. Well, we got to ask because I'm curious. And so I'm just going to like throw this out there because I want to know. As Big Brother, are you Team Max or Team Simon for Zoe?
Because this is the dynamic. Well, this is where we're at.
Let me ask you guys. What are you guys?
Oh, we're totally Team Max. I can so relate to Max. I feel so bad for him. So I'm totally down with Team Max, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think there's any question.
Yeah. Right. Like.
I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but no, I mean, no, I mean, she should definitely be with Max. I mean, I think she's a little like, you know, she's obviously a little obsessed with Simon, but come on.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. Seriously. Smart man. This is a smart man right here. No doubt.
And especially in the episode last week or a couple weeks ago where she finally said, I don't want to be that woman. I don't want to be the other woman or the homewrecker, which in like up until this point, you've kind of been that way. Like, I mean, I can understand having the connection about the dads and everything like that. But then like, that kiss was a little overboard. And then, that other episode just, man.
A lot of it's his fault.
For sure.
Like he needs to calm it down.
I mean, exactly.
He's for sure taking advantage of her feelings.
Yeah. I mean, and that's so it's both of them. But no, I definitely as her brother, I would tell her to be with Max.
There you go.
I feel you.
Or I'd say, hey, you know what? Maybe you're not ready to be with. Maybe you should be dating people.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Play the field a little bit.
Yeah, play the field. Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
But I definitely for Max, definitely for sure.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Right.
I personally, so I'm looking forward to seeing how your storyline develops, though, and plays out, especially after the baby comes and how we see that dynamic change with the family.
It seems like it's getting much more like prevalent. Everybody's getting to get a little inside glimpse on that relationship, and especially at the end of the one episode where your wife buys the stair climber or whatever for the dad.
Great stuff.
How many times did you ride that thing?
I wrote it a lot. I really enjoyed that. I think you probably called my performance, and I really did enjoy it.
Right.
The thing about it was very difficult because if it sat there for more than like 20 seconds, it would start to beep.
Oh shit!
So it was very tricky actually. I had to constantly move it just a little bit during the scene. So that way it wouldn't start to beep. You would think that they would have figured out a way for that not to have happened, but they didn't. So here's a fun story.
We love fun stories.
I mean, well, I don't know if I should say so or not, but basically we had to reshoot part of the stair climbing thing. Just like there was just like an angle that like it was just like one little tiny thing. It wasn't like we didn't have to reshoot the whole scene or anything. It was just like someone's hand or whatever it was. I don't remember, but we went to go reshoot it, and a piece of clothing was missing. A very specific piece of clothing was missing that somebody was wearing, and so it was everybody was very stressed out because. It has to match, and there was just that piece of clothing you couldn't get it anywhere. So I don't know exactly what they ended up doing, but they figured it out because you can't tell in the thing. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of the whole day spent people running around saying, where did the shirt go? Where did the shirt go? But no, I rode the stair. I was happy to get back into the stair climbers.
Definitely. When
we had to reshoot, I was very excited about that. But it is very, very slow, so it's not terribly exciting.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it's definitely worth it. If you ever have a chance to ride one of them, I'd say you should take someone up on it.
Definitely on the bucket list.
On the bucket list. There you go.
And make one as fast as a Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So, dude, I have a feeling though, and I mean, I know you probably can't tell us, but I just have a feeling like your guy's David's gonna have this like big breakout after the baby, and we're gonna be seeing some like crazy stuff from David. I hope.
I do too.
Really?
Yeah, I just have this feeling, man. I don't know, but he's always like this straight laced kind of put together guy, and I think the guy on the pool table, we're gonna see more of that.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Interesting. The guy on the pool table. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna you think what? Tell me what you mean. You think that he's gonna you think he'll have like a crisis, or you think he'll like what do you think?
Well, okay, I'm just gonna put this out there because I have no idea, but I'm assuming that Dad is gonna pass, and I feel like David is gonna have to step up. He's a new dad. his dad has passed and he's going to kind of have to come into this role a little bit as the leader of the family, and that's going to cause a little bit of stress because we know David gets stressed out a little bit. So I feel like that's kind of where the path is going to go, and it's going to be overwhelmed with the excitement of the baby, but the loss of the dad, and now how do I try to balance all this with my family? And I don't know. I'm just saying that's my thought process.
I could see it.
Let me ask you guys a question. All right.
All right.
Do you think that in that episode where Emily wanted him to have sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you feel like David was a jerk, or what did you think?
When she said that he sat down on the bed and said, "Want to do it?" Like he wasn't as like comforting to her, I guess, when you should probably like try to comfort her and like protect her feelings. But I mean, you could tell she was feeling some type of way, especially after Zoe already told him that, oh, she probably wants to get some. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like he was misunderstood. Like again,
Yes.
I feel like he's always trying to do the right thing, and I thought that was played out well in the scene. He's like, no, I'm ridiculously attracted to you, but you're going through all this stuff, and I just don't want to do anything to overwhelm you or kind of
overstep.
Right, and so I feel like this poor guy's probably horny as hell and really wanting to be with his wife because he's attracted to her, but he doesn't want. He always wants to do the right thing. So
yeah, I mean, he knew the day count, like 2 months, exactly. 3 weeks.
That's true. He did. That's true. So, but also he's pretty stressed out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
His dad is like, they basically just said it's like it's almost the end, right?
Right.
And that's what they said in the episode before. So, like maybe he's not feeling, that like that's the priority necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
But but I think some people might be like, no, he should be, it's too much about the dad. He should be worried about his,
Right.
be worried about his wife more.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there's definitely a lot going on with all of these characters.
No, but I love the insight that you just gave because, I mean, I think we agree, right? I really feel like that's where it's at. He's stressed out. He's got all this going on. And again, I think the whole dynamic for David and Emily is that they know they're about to bring life into this family, but the overwhelming theme is they're losing the patriarch of the family. So how do you deal with that? And stress is definitely, going to play in. So that's where I'm hoping your storyline goes.
Right.
Okay. What can you imagine that's like so like dancing on a pool table? But that's in the real world that would be sort of like him breaking out.
Well, honestly, I continue to see. Now we're just getting into our creative side.
Right,
I don't
exactly.
know. Yeah, Austin's is going to call back up and say, "What the fuck?"
He's listening.
I just kind of see him continue to play out his role, and the stress is going to continue to build until he just has a break. Where he literally just breaks down. Because we haven't really seen that yet. We've seen him try to stay. I mean, he had that little moment when he didn't talk to Zoe, or he kind of had that step away. But we haven't seen him crack yet, and I really feel like with the stress is going to start to get to him, and where it's overwhelming responsibility. We kind of saw that a little bit, right? When he's taking care of mom, brings her to go get the lemonade, and and he feels like it's his responsibility to take care of everything. So I just.
But I think you're right, though. He does. He really. Everybody else is like so emotional, and he's actually pretty. He kind of holds it together,
right?
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see if at some point that all that holding it in finally breaks free.
Yeah.
So let's turn it. Let's ask you then. What do you want to see him kind of lose it a little bit? Would you like to play that, or do you? I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I do. I think it would be realistic. I think so. I mean, I certainly. I at a certain point, I think I would be like, okay, it's too much. That's what you hold all that in. And at a certain point, you do sort of explode.
Absolutely,
in some way. So
and just
so,
think.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Just think of all the possibilities. I'm sitting here right away, just like all the music that you could go along with that breakdown would be brilliant. So many songs, right? Like to have this wave of emotion that David would be riding. So many songs. I mean,
yeah, totally. Well, hopefully we get to find out.
I think so, dude. I mean, I can't imagine it not going. I think this whole social media blitz and the whole strategy that NBC had behind it is brilliant. I mean, it's definitely talked about. I mean, you see the hashtag everywhere, and everybody I know is talking about it.
Yes, totally. No, it's definitely. I think NBC loves the show, and I think that the people that watch it seem to really, really love it. So, it's fun too. It's like a wide variety of people love it, which is really cool to see. like people that I'm like, oh, I didn't realize. Like I've had people saying to me, like, I never thought in a million years this would be my kind of show, and I love it. So I think that's pretty cool to see that that's, you know,
And
that is,
it's one of those rare family shows. I really
Yeah.
do feel like it's one where the entire family can just sit down and watch it, and everybody will connect to it, and
yes.
that's rare these days.
I've had a lot of people tell me, they're like, oh, it's so great, I can watch with my kids. Yeah,
Right, exactly.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
and the music brings it all together. Like I play name that tune every time with the rest of my
Right.
family. I'm like, what's that song before they say, because it's such a
that's
wide
fun.
range of music. You start off with the Beatles, but then we're going modern day Kelly Clarkson and like all these did this range of music. So it's fun to play that too.
Do you guys have a favorite episode?
Ooh,
Yeah, that one's difficult. That one's difficult. I really liked when Zoe like danced on the table to Billy Joel.
yeah.
That was
great.
That was a great episode, but it was also like kind of a turning point where I was kind of like, Zoe, what are you doing? But she was also having like a breakdown. So, but I think
Yes.
that was probably my favorite episode because it made you most relate to her before
Totally.
anyone else
Yeah.
because of what she was going through. Because I'm sure everybody has been in that situation where a family member is like about to die or either just died, and they're just trying to come in the grips with the fact that it's happening.
I
Yes,
think my favorite
totally, yeah.
episode is the engagement party one where in the backyard where the
Where
rose
she
wall goes
burns,
up.
yeah.
And just
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
like I said, I'm rooting for Max, and I feel like that was a really strong Max episode.
Oh,
I thought
I love
Skylar
that.
did a great
500
job.
miles, yeah.
So I loved that, and again, like I said, I loved the episode a couple of weeks ago where you guys had the breakout moment with you and Emily. So because I love Alice, I think she's fantastic,
Yeah.
and I really
She's
do like
great,
seeing
yeah.
that dynamic grow. Those are probably my two favorite episodes, really.
Oh, wow. All right, cool. Wow. Very, very cool. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see the show progress, and the episodes have such different things in them too. So it's fun
Yeah.
to really see it all. Yeah.
Oh, and it's a
Totally.
huge credit to yourself and the rest of the cast. Like I said, Logan said it perfectly earlier. I think there's somebody on that show that everybody can connect to, and I think that's because of the likability and the realism that's brought to the performances by all of you guys. So huge kudos to you for that.
Very nice. A lot of that is, also Austin and the directors, and yeah. But thank you.
Oh yeah,
Very nice.
no doubt. I mean, it's a team effort. I mean, Austin is brilliant, but you guys bring the brilliance, So it's just, I think it's a phenomenal show, man. Congratulations, really.
No, thanks. Thank you so much. I'm gonna tell you right now, these cookies turned out really well.
So we didn't even ask, what kind of cookies are they?
Pleasant. They're just straight up chocolate chip cookies, but I'm very pleasantly surprised.
Oh,
that
there you
these
go.
Turned out pretty.
Just add that to the resume, man.
Yeah,
Just
there you
another
go.
skill.
Exactly.
No, now we need to see David in the kitchen cooking.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, just
That's right.
you could do some sort of a musical cooking cookies. It'll be fantastic.
No, I love that. I love that. Yeah.
So, what do you
Yeah.
have coming up, man? What you got? What you got coming up in the future aside from Zoe's? What you working on?
Well, I was supposed to be going to New Mexico to work on this mini series about Evil Knievel for USA,
Cool.
but that's obviously put on hold right now.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to go back to some other shows that I was working on before Zoe's, and I've been shooting some of my own stuff and doing a bunch of writing, and yeah, at the moment just editing some stuff that I've been doing, and doing a bunch of writing, and and then sort of everybody's just sort of waiting to see
Absolutely.
how long this is going to go on for.
Yeah, what's next? Yeah.
Right, and we're
Pretty
hoping
crazy.
not too long, man. We're hoping everybody just takes heed and stays inside and gets rid of this stuff,
I
man.
know.
Well, that's
I know,
exciting. I
yeah.
mean, we could not be more thrilled that you came on and talked to us. I mean, seriously.
No, anytime, you guys.
It's going to be great. The listeners are going to love this without doubt. What we like to do at the end is kind of have you pass along some advice. Like, what advice would you give to? Because we have a lot of up and comers, people trying to get into the industry that listen to our podcast. So, what advice would you give to them? Anybody trying to get into the industry? Maybe even some pitfalls that you would say definitely look out to or avoid.
I would say always ask, right?
Right,
based
right.
on my experience again, but ask in a way that's not too over. You ask, and if they say no or don't respond, you move on.
Right.
Don't be too pushy, but you always ask. I would say really work on, if you want to be an actor, work on your writing.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to your acting, like work on. So many people can now make their own things, so don't wait around for the phone to ring. Make your own stuff.
Absolutely.
And I would say that's the most important thing is like, if you're a creative person, create. And that will only make you more valuable and make you feel better about yourself, And I would say I don't know, like, just keep like work hard and practice, and the things that you're not good at, try to get better at, and just work hard. That's what I would just say: work hard and be creative.
There you go.
I think that's the key, is to keep trying, and know that it's not everything you write is going to be great. Not everything you do is going to be great. So what can you take from the things that aren't great and then make something great out of that?
Definitely.
Definitely. That's like solid advice. And I love that. Yeah, because we haven't heard that before. That if you want to be an actor, write. I really like that advice because what better way to learn how to develop characters or portray characters than by developing characters and writing your own. That's brilliant advice, man.
But ask me again in a week, and I have a different thing to say.
Right. Well, we might take you up on that. We might call you back up.
That's right.
Anytime you want to come on the show, even just talk about the industry, shoot the shit, like, we're always down, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Open invite.
I appreciate it.
Of course.
I appreciate it. I wish you guys could see these cookies. I really.
I know. I'm kind of jealous.
When this whole quarantine thing is over and everything, we're back out in LA. We're gonna have you bake us some cookies.
Right.
Man. It's just gonna happen.
Okay. Absolutely. I will absolutely do that. All right. Well, it was great talking to you guys.
You too, man. You and the family stay safe. Take care, man.
You too. Really appreciate you being such fans of the show. It's great.
Of course.
Oh, one more thing. Tell everybody where they can follow you, man. We want everybody to be able to follow you. You guys do a great job live tweeting and everything. Where can they find you on social media, dude?
So, on Instagram, just Andrew Leeds, Leeds. And then on Twitter, it's Leeds Andrew, because someone said Andrew Leeds. So
there you go. It's amazing how that happens, right?
Totally. So that's that. And I won't live tweet, but follow me. Sure.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, follow you on Instagram. We might see the cookies.
Exactly.
You should post a picture on Instagram of the cookies, man.
That could happen. I will post a picture of the cookies.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
All right, dude. Listen, take care, man. Like I said, we really appreciate it. You have a great rest of the week, and open invite.
Too.
Seriously, dude.
All right. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.
See you, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
Man, he's a funny guy.
And multi-talented.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this guy basically baked the entire interview.
Yeah, it's like, ding, they're done.
Exactly.
It's so funny.
I really do, though, all seriousness. I love the insight that he gave to the show, because you can really tell that family dynamic and that the cast is really tight.
It's there.
And just how the way he talks about the cast and the way he talks about Austin and Mandy and everything, it's really exciting to hear that that's the way it is,
Agreed.
So yeah, that was really fun, man.
It was.
And another one where it's just brutally honest.
I know, right?
It's like, I don't know if I can sing.
You're right.
Or, well, I didn't study, I didn't read a book, I didn't, I just love people who come on here and just say, this is me.
Right.
And this is how it's great stuff, man.
Exactly. Thank you again, Andrew Leeds, for coming on the show.